Tomorrow, Venus is going to collide with Saturn in the sky, and I know that might not sound like much on the surface, but this is what astrologers call a truth bomb, a cosmic reality check. The kind of transit that strips away every illusion, every excuse, every maybe, and forces you to see your relationships exactly as they are. Not as you wish they were, not as they could be, but as they actually are right now, in this moment. And here's what's really getting my attention. We're already inside this energy, like right now as you're watching this, the pressure is building. And if you've been feeling restless, anxious, or like you're standing at some kind of relational crossroads, there's a very specific reason for that, and I'm going to break it down for you later in this video. But first, there's something I think you need to understand. This isn't just another planetary aspect. This is a forced maturation, a line in the sand. And depending on your sign, especially if you're an Aries, Libra, or Cancer, this transit is about to give you clarity you didn't even know you were missing. So if you're ready to understand what's really happening behind the scenes and why your nervous system might be going haywire right now, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share could completely shift how you see your relationships moving forward. The fantasy before the fall. Here's the thing most people don't realize, and this was a huge aha moment for me when I started looking at the timeline of this transit. The universe doesn't just drop a truth bomb on you out of nowhere. It sets you up first. It inflates the dream. It shows you exactly what you want to see, and then, when you're fully invested in the fantasy, that's when it pulls the rug out. And that's exactly what's happening right now, because today, Venus is forming an exact conjunction with Neptune in Aries. And if you know anything about Neptune, you know it's the planet of illusions, dreams, idealization. When Venus meets Neptune, everything looks perfect. Relationships feel magical. That person you've been dating suddenly seems like they could be the one. That situationship you've been in. Today, it might feel like it's finally going somewhere. Everything is bathed in this soft, romantic glow. Red flags? You don't see them. Incompatibilities? They disappear. You're projecting your ideal partner onto whoever's in front of you, and for a brief moment, it feels absolutely intoxicating. Does that resonate? I've been watching this energy build over the past few days, and honestly, I've felt it too. There's this magnetic pull, this feeling like anything is possible in love, like all the pieces are finally falling into place. And if you've been feeling that, I want you to know that's Venus-Neptune doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's creating the dream. But here's what nobody tells you about Venus-Neptune. It's a setup, because tomorrow, when Venus separates from Neptune and immediately crashes into Saturn, all of that fantasy energy, it evaporates. The rose-colored glasses come off. And what you're left with is the truth, raw, unfiltered, and completely unavoidable. Tomorrow changes everything. So let me paint you a picture of what's about to happen. Tomorrow morning at exactly 9:39 a.m. UTC, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, beauty, and values, is going to form an exact conjunction with Saturn in Aries. And Saturn is the lord of time, the cosmic reality checker, the planet that says, okay, enough playing around, what's actually real here? When these two planets come together, it's like the universe is forcing you to answer one very specific question. Is this relationship built on a solid foundation, or are you just keeping yourself entertained? And I know that sounds harsh, but here's the thing. Saturn doesn't care about potential. It doesn't care about what someone could be if they just tried harder. It only cares about what's actually been built, what can actually be sustained, what's real enough to survive in the physical world. This is the transit that eliminates ambiguity. You know those undefined relationships, the we're just seeing where this goes situations, the I'm not ready to commit but I also don't want you seeing anyone else dynamics? Saturn in Aries doesn't tolerate that. It forces a decision. Either this becomes something real and committed or it ends. There's no more middle ground. And honestly, for some people that's going to feel like a relief, but for others it's going to feel like the ground is opening up beneath them. Because when you're forced to choose, when you can no longer keep your options open and play it safe, That triggers the nervous system in a big way. Why your body feels like it's freaking out. Okay, so if you've been feeling anxious, restless, or like something heavy is sitting on your chest, stay with me on this one, because there's a very specific reason your body is reacting this way, and it's not what you think. Here's what I've come to understand about Saturn transits, especially when they involve Venus. When Saturn demands commitment, when it forces you to choose one specific path and let go of all the other possibilities, your nervous system interprets that as danger. Does that make sense? Because wanting something specific means you could lose that specific thing, and your body remembers every time you've been hurt before, every rejection, every betrayal, every time you made yourself vulnerable and it didn't work out. So when the universe says, okay, it's time to commit, your nervous system says, absolutely not. That's terrifying. And that's why you might feel this somatic tension right now. Maybe it's tightness in your chest. Maybe it's a knot in your stomach. Maybe you've been having trouble sleeping, or you catch yourself picking fights over nothing. This isn't you being difficult. I really believe this is your body trying to protect you from the vulnerability of actually choosing. And I've been feeling some of this myself. There's this weird restlessness, like I can't quite settle, like something big is about to happen and my system is bracing for impact. And if that's you too, I want you to know, you're not broken. This is a completely normal response to what's happening energetically right now. But here's the part that I think is so important to remember, the clarity you're about to receive, even though it might feel heavy or scary or overwhelming. It's a gift. Because living in ambiguity is exhausting. Not knowing where you stand, constantly trying to read between the lines, wondering if someone's actually serious about you, that drains your life force. And Saturn is about to end that. The universe is showing you what's real. So here's what I think is really happening with this transit. The universe isn't trying to ruin your relationships. It's trying to show you which ones are worth your energy. Because Venus and Saturn together, they're the ultimate BS detector. If a relationship is built on genuine compatibility, mutual respect, and real commitment, Saturn rewards it. It deepens it. It adds a layer of security and stability that wasn't there before. Couples who have been doing the work, who've been showing up for each other consistently, who've built something real, they're about to feel their bond strengthen in a major way. But if a relationship is built on fantasy, convenience, or fear of being alone, Saturn exposes it, and it doesn't do it gently. It's like suddenly seeing someone in high definition for the first time. All the things you've been overlooking, all the red flags you've been explaining away, all the ways you've been compromising your own needs, it all becomes crystal clear. And I want to be real with you. That can be painful, because sometimes we don't want to see the truth. Sometimes we're so invested in the idea of a person that we ignore who they actually are. Sometimes we stay in situations that aren't serving us because the alternative, being alone, starting over, admitting we were wrong, feels too hard. But here's what I've learned about Saturn transits. They don't take away what's real. They only remove what's false. And yes, that can feel like loss. But what you're losing is the illusion, and what you're gaining is your integrity, your self-respect, your truth. Why Aries, Libra, and Cancer need to pay attention. Okay, so while everyone's going to feel this transit to some degree, there are 3 signs that are about to receive unprecedented clarity. And if you're one of these signs, or if you have these signs prominent in your chart, I really need you to hear this. Aries, this is happening to you. If you're an Aries or you have Aries rising, this conjunction is occurring directly in your first house, your house of self, your identity, your physical body. This isn't happening around you, it's happening to you. And honestly, you're carrying the full weight of this cosmic reality check. Here's what I think is going on for Aries right now. For months, maybe even years, you've been operating on pure momentum, starting things, chasing things, moving fast because that's what you do. But Saturn just entered your sign in February, and it's here for the next 3 years to teach you one very specific lesson. Speed without foundation doesn't work anymore. The clarity you're receiving tomorrow is about self-worth. It's about recognizing the difference between what you genuinely want and what you've been settling for because you were impatient. It's about realizing that you've been carrying relationships where you're doing all the initiating, all the pursuing, all the emotional labor and getting very little back. And tomorrow, Saturn is going to make that imbalance impossible to ignore. You're going to wake up and suddenly see very clearly who's actually showing up for you and who's just enjoying the ride. And if that's you, I know it might feel heavy. But this is your cosmic permission slip to demand more, to stop keeping your options open and actually choose what you want, to anchor your fire in something real. And I really believe that once you make that choice, once you stop being afraid of losing your freedom and start building something solid, that's when everything changes for you. Libra, the mirror is cracking. For Libra, this transit is hitting your 7th house, your house of partnerships, marriage, committed relationships, and because Venus is your ruling planet, and it's currently in a state of exile being crushed by Saturn, you're feeling this on a soul-deep level. Here's what I think is happening for you. You're the diplomat of the zodiac. You're wired to create harmony, to keep the peace, to make things look beautiful on the surface. But tomorrow, Saturn is forcing you to look beneath that surface, and what you're going to see might be uncomfortable. The clarity Libra receives is about equity. It's about recognizing where you've been giving infinitely more than you're receiving, where you've been downplaying your own needs to avoid conflict, where you've been staying in a relationship because it looks good on paper, but it doesn't actually feel good in your body. And I want you to know, if your partner has been coasting, if they've been refusing to take on adult responsibilities, if they've been treating your relationship like it's optional, Saturn is about to precipitate a crisis. The relationship either evolves into something mature, equitable, and truly committed, or it ends. There's no more middle ground. And for single Libras, this is the transit that eliminates your tolerance for casual anything. You're done with situationships, done with people who can't define what you are to them. Your standards are about to skyrocket, and honestly, that's exactly what needs to happen. Cancer, the professional-personal collision. If you're a Cancer, this transit is hitting your 10th house, your career, your public life, your reputation, and this is where it gets interesting because Jupiter is currently in your sign, at its exact degree of exaltation, and it's about to station direct just 2 days after this truth bomb. The clarity Cancer receives is about the intersection of professional ambition and personal values, and tomorrow you might suddenly realize how a relationship has been holding back your career growth, or conversely, how your relentless focus on success has alienated you from authentic connection. Saturn is demanding that you stop mothering everyone, your partner, your colleagues, your clients, and start leading with boundaries. That you stop sacrificing your own trajectory to make others comfortable. And because Jupiter is backing you up from such a powerful position, once you accept this reality check and set those boundaries, your timeline accelerates dramatically. The rewards are coming for you, Cancer, but only if you're willing to stand in your authority and stop apologizing for taking up space. What happens after the truth bomb? So here's what I want you to understand about tomorrow. Yes, it's going to be intense. Yes, you might receive information that's hard to hear. Yes, your nervous system might be activated. But this isn't the end of the story. This is the beginning of something more real. Because after Venus separates from Saturn, the energy starts to shift. By Monday, Venus forms a supportive connection to Pluto, giving you the power to actually transform what's been revealed. And then Jupiter stations direct in Cancer, releasing all that stalled energy and accelerating your timeline forward. The universe isn't leaving you stranded in the harsh truth. It's giving you the tools to work with it, to build something better, to choose something real. And honestly, I think that's what makes this transit so powerful. It's not just about tearing things down, it's about clearing the space for what's meant to stay, for the relationships that can handle the truth, for the partnerships that are ready to deepen, for the connections that are built on more than just fantasy and convenience. The financial reality check. Okay, so before we wrap up, I need to mention something that a lot of people forget about Venus-Saturn transits. This isn't just about relationships. Venus also governs money, resources, and self-worth. And in Aries, Venus tends to spend impulsively, to want immediate gratification, to chase the rush of acquisition. Tomorrow, Saturn is going to act like a financial auditor, and if you've been overspending, overextending yourself, or trying to buy your way to happiness, you're about to feel a restriction. Maybe an expense gets delayed. Maybe you suddenly realize you need to cut back. Maybe you look at your bank account and feel that heavy Saturn reality check. But here's the thing, this isn't punishment. I really believe this is the universe teaching you that your worth isn't tied to what you own or what you can buy. That real value is built through time, discipline, and sustainable choices. And once you accept that lesson, once you start managing your resources with Saturn's wisdom, that's when true abundance becomes possible. Trust the process. Look, I know this all sounds heavy, and I'm not going to lie to you. Tomorrow might be difficult for some of you. You might have conversations you've been avoiding. You might make decisions you've been postponing. You might see truths you've been refusing to acknowledge. But I really need you to hear this. If something ends tomorrow, it was already ending. If someone shows you who they really are, believe them. If you feel that pull to walk away from what's not serving you, trust it. Because Saturn doesn't destroy what's real. It only removes what's false. And the relationships, the partnerships, the connections that survive this transit, they're going to be stronger than ever because they'll be built on truth, on reality, on a foundation that can actually support the weight of a real, committed, mature partnership. And honestly, that's worth more than all the fantasy in the world. You're not alone in this. So as we head into tomorrow, I want you to know, whatever you're feeling, whatever clarity you receive, whatever decisions you need to make, you're not alone. We're all moving through this energy together. And if you're feeling the weight of it, if you're feeling that somatic tension, if you're feeling that nervous system activation, that's completely normal. That's your body responding to a massive energetic shift. Give yourself permission to feel whatever comes up. Don't rush the process. Don't force decisions before you're ready. But also, don't ignore what's being revealed to you. Because this clarity, it's a gift, even when it doesn't feel like one. All right, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Seriously, it means a lot that you stayed with me through all of this. If this resonated with you and you want to see more content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And please drop a comment below. I really want to hear what you've been experiencing as we approach this transit. Are you feeling the pressure? Has anything shifted for you already? I read every single comment, and honestly, sharing